Welcome to Baker Makes It. My name is Zach Baker, and in this episode we are going to be putting the flooring down in our 70s holiday Rambler travel trailer project. If you haven't been following along, we've been restoring this thing over the last few years, and it's been quite a project. The bodies come off the frame, we built a new frame, we stripped the paint off the outside, we repainted it, spray foam insulation. We just got the plywood on the walls in the last video, and now it's time to put the flooring down. We're going to be installing an LVP flooring in this dark walnut color, and this is to pay homage to some of the original paneling that was in here. Now we're not going to be doing the walls that dark wood color like what was in here. We're going to be painting those, but we did want to kind of have a nod to that. The process here is going to be to do a little bit of a layout. We got to figure out what is the best place to start this flooring to make sure that we have a somewhat even amount on both sides, or we at least don't have a skinny strip on one side. Last thing we want is to, right in front of the door, have a 1/2 inch wide strip of flooring. That's going to be more susceptible to wear and tear, and it could possibly fail if it doesn't have enough adhesion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking some measurements and just start dividing the width by the width of the flooring and figure out, do I want to start it off the center? Do I want to start it off a wall? And then we're going to shoot a laser down it, and we're going to start putting this down. Now this is a glue down product, so we're going to use an adhesive that comes in a bucket. It's pre-mixed. We're going to spread it out with a notched trowel. We let it tack up, meaning we let it dry a little bit, and then we start putting this stuff down. This can kind of get messy, but I chose the glue down over a click together floor because it weighs a little bit less per square foot, and ultimately I think it's a better product personally. It's thinner, it weighs less, and it really holds up well, and you don't have to worry about it moving around like a click together floor would. So let's get started. I think this is going to take a couple different days. We've got some weird notching and things, but honestly this is about the easiest flooring project you can have because it's pretty much one big rectangle. So this shouldn't be too bad, apart from a few holes and things like the heater and the wheel wells. So this shouldn't be too bad. Let's do it. Okay, I've put down enough glue to do about 3 rows here. And they say once you put this glue down, you have 12 hours to put your flooring down. That seems like a wild amount of time to me. So I would never wait that long. And plus you can only reach so far. So I tend to do this like 3 rows at a time because I can comfortably reach 3 rows at a time. So we're gonna prep some of these pieces of flooring before we go ahead and start laying them. We want to create a stagger pattern here. And so there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Once I find my pencil, there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. I tend to do something like I'll take off 7 inches, 13 inches, 19 inches, or something like that. I kind of do an odd number. I don't know why, it just makes sense to me. But I don't like to stair step these. So a lot of times you'll see someone do a full sheet, 6 inches off, or 7 inches off, 13 inches off, 19 inches off, and then a full sheet. I think that looks kind of weird because you can see the staggers. So what we're going to do is actually break that up a little. So we might go like a full sheet and then 13 inches and then 7 inches and then 19 inches. And we're just going to jump around a little bit. The key though is that this first row needs to follow that laser. So I'm going to get the laser set up again, and we're going to get that first one right on that line. As long as that first one is totally straight, the rest of this will go really nice. While this is tacking up, I'm looking for the color of it to change. I don't know if you can see on camera, but it starts like a real light cream color or an off-white, and as it tacks up, it almost goes invisible. It almost looks like it's not there anymore. Once it completely goes invisible, I know I'm good to go. They say you can put it down a little tacky on a porous surface like this, but it's fine either way, and I can go ahead and prep these pieces. So let's go ahead and do some chopping here. So this tool we're using here is an LVP or LVT cutter. This is not necessary. You can score these with a knife and make your cuts. However, it is really nice to be able to quickly make square cuts with this. You just make your mark, butt it up against the fence, and you chop it. All right, the laser's set up. I did want to address, a lot of people would probably say just use a chalk line to snap this. In some ways the chalk line is more reliable, especially when you have a laser that's not a super solid setup like mine isn't. The reason I don't use a chalk line is because you can lose it under your glue and it gets messed up as you're spreading your glue. Same if you're doing like tile with thin set. My preference is to use a laser rather over a chalk line. So this end is pretty well tacked up, so I'm gonna start laying the first row and then start filling in the next row. I'm gonna be using this roller, this floor roller, to put some pressure down on each piece to make sure it's firmly set into the glue. And we'll clean this as we go so it's not getting glue on pieces as we go. So we've got about half the flooring in now, and I just wanted to check in with you guys and kind of explain some of the things I've learned and some of the process here. So like I mentioned, this is a glue down product. It's a vinyl product. Whenever you install flooring in a house, you bring the flooring in the house at least 3 days to a week ahead of time, and you let it acclimate to the temperature and to the humidity of the house. The reason for that is because the expansion and contraction can cause a floor to fail miserably. If you put wood in when it's 35 degrees and then it's all of a sudden 80 degrees, that wood's going to be popping and coming up and just ruin the floor completely. And so when I started this install, I put the air conditioner in here, and I put it at like 72. I brought the material in, I gave it 3 days, I installed it. And the first batch that I did, I noticed after it ran for a while, it actually shrunk a little bit. And so on my short sides, the material actually pulled away about 1/16 of an inch, which I thought was kind of weird because I gave it time, and if anything it got hotter in here because I turned the AC off after a few days. The next batch I did, which is the 4 rows that I did last, did the opposite. Did the same exact process. I came in here, I installed it, came back about a week later after turning the AC off, and the edges of the boards actually started to push against each other and lift up off the floor. Turned the air conditioner back on, they shrunk back down, and now they're laying flat again. So I'm a little confused here because I feel like I did the same thing both times. But what it appears is that as the temperature rose, the flooring expanded to a point where it was a problem. So going forward, I'm going to leave just a little bit of a gap. I'm following that same procedure. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap. I may have to go back and try to actually slice some of the gap that's there because it just doesn't look good when it heats up. And so I worry that when I leave this thing parked, that's going to be a problem. I haven't totally figured that out yet, but for now we're going to keep moving. You know, this might be a reason to choose a different type of flooring. You know, I don't know. It's my first time using something like this in an environment where the temperature is going to change that much. I've also read that the way the glue flashes off or the way it dries before you put the flooring down can affect that, and the humidity's changed a bunch. So I do have a dehumidifier in here now. Anyway, all that to say, there's a lot of factors at play here, and I want to be open and honest with you guys about some of the difficulties here. I'm going to keep moving, and we'll come up with a solution if it keeps lifting like that. I am going to give the glue a little more of a chance to flash off, I think, this time before we get the next batch in. So we're about halfway done. We're going to move all the material onto the finished part, and we're going to keep trucking along here. We're down to just 2 rows left. These last 2 are the most complicated because of the diesel heater situation. So I've pre-cut all of these. We'll get this glue spread, we'll get these down, and then the flooring is done. And then we can get on to building some walls in here. And the flooring is done. What a satisfying part of this project. This is starting to feel like something. And that was the last big hurdle before we can start building out the inside. So in the next video, we're gonna jump into the design process a little bit, how this thing is going to look when it's done. We're gonna have some 3D models, some 3D renderings, and we're gonna talk about what's going where. And then we can start the crazy process that is putting this all together. We have until July 4th of this year to get this thing to a point where we can camp in it. It's not going to be done by then, but it needs to have a bed. It needs to have plumbing, electric, all those fun things. So it's crunch time. These videos are going to be coming fast now. If you're not following Baker Makes It yet, please do. These videos are going to get really good. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.